So, Supriya, one great news is, in the last 3 years, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has set up the India Cine Hub. The India Cine Hub's role is to actually make filming in India very, very easy. What they've effectively done, at least from a central ministry point of view, highlighted some great points of railways, especially ASI, very, defense, etc. So all one has to do is apply to the India Cine Hub. And even if there is no support at the state level, there are nodal officers that they work with at the state level that help with, your permissions, and, the timelines are pretty competitive.
No, this is extremely, see, I'm a film industry person.
Yes,
I don't know
yes, yes. And, it's amazing that, they also sometimes facilitate with incentives. If it's a co-production, film that you want to make, they help. So it's a great setup. And, maybe through you, we can spread that word. But it's a great.
We have to get more people on board this.
Yes, yes. The Economic Contribution Report by the MPA mentions employment, skills, and value chain expansion beyond just box office numbers. What are your views on this?
So I feel that as long as skill and labor is restricted in the industry, we are not going to be able to ensure that these benefits move along. You ask any kid, they would love to work in film. How do they get in here? How do they navigate? How do they find a job? How does a lightman find a job being a lightman? How does a production boy find his job here? Highly unionized, which is very, very restrictive. I think there has to be the Competition Commission of India has come down very strongly on certain clauses in certain functionings of the unions. But I think it is a daily challenge for producers. It's a daily challenge for workers within. They're not, whether you look at it from both perspectives. The workers need to be safe. They need to have fair wages. They need to have safety. They need to have insurance. There's high risk jobs associated. And where are we skilling? We need to skill. Where does a fighter get skilled? Where does he get trained? Where does a dancer get trained? Now, if there are dancers who are fabulous dancers, just kids dancing, how do they get into the industry?
Yes.
They are not able to get into the industry. Why these restrictions? There is so much talent in India. And it's interesting because the health of a creative industry is dependent on the level of talent. And we are restricting talent from entering.
Yes.
Because we are functioning on models which were set up, 50, 60, 70 years ago. And that cannot function. So economic benefits reaching down, I think we are the highest paid industry. Even if you look at daily wages, we are the highest paid industry. We surpass all the regulatory pay scales that governments have set up, primarily because we don't have hours. So, of course, you should pay. We don't have set hours. We don't have set days. We don't have set rules. You're not going to the same place to work every day. You don't have an employer per se for a long period of time. With all these nuances and the nature of the industry being such, there has to be policy from the government and the industry to ensure that skill is not restricted. That is a battle today that we are fighting, or I wouldn't say we are fighting, but I think it's a battle that it's something that we all need to overcome. I think we cannot depend on the one guy who is going to rise above the 10 guys as the best worker. You have to have 10 guys who are trained, and then the 2 guys who are excelling, who will be able to rise up the ladder. You can't say these 2 guys who are better are still going to get paid the same wage as all 10.
Yes.
They are not going to be incentivized enough to keep dreaming and keep climbing.
Yes.
Mentorship has to be stronger. There used to be a time where, from a director or from a producer, you would have 5 new directors come out, 5 new DOPs come out. We are missing that.
Yes.
We are missing that because we are not skilling.
Right.